Hello, and welcome to Just a Byte podcast, where we discuss dining, blogging, and social media. Your host is Malika Bowling, author, blogger, and president of the Association of Food Bloggers.
Hello, this is Malika Bowling with the Association of Food Bloggers, and this is the Just a Byte podcast. Today, we're talking about building your brand and getting paid for what you do. And we're lucky today because our guest is Chris Watkins, an Atlanta writer and blogger. He's written for City Search, Thrillist, and the Atlanta Convention and Visitors Bureau, and he writes the popular food blog Eat, Drink, Repeat. Thank you, Chris, for being here today with us.
Thank you very much for having me. I certainly appreciate it.
So my first question for you is, you don't have a background in writing or journalism, so how did you get started writing Eat, Drink, Repeat?
Yeah, it's kind of a funny story. I initially started even writing in the first place when CitySearch.com was in its heyday. One of the editor at that time reached out to me. He knew that I loved going out and about in the city and trying new and different places, so he started an ambassador program, and he asked me to come aboard to write kind of little roundups around the city as it relates to food and dining. And it was through that I met Sarah Ann Sofer, which is my partner at Eat, Drink, Repeat. We wrote stories and would get like gift cards to different places and whatnot. And then once City Search went defunct for about, I think, the second or the third time, we decided that we still loved writing about the Atlanta food and drink scene, and we decided to start our own blog where we would cover such things as food events and restaurant reviews and chefs interviews.
Your site is really informative and has a lot of good information. So now, how long ago was that you started that? Was that 2009 that you started your blog?
I think it was about 2009, 2011. The years kind of fly by when you're writing a blog, so I think about 2011 when you actually kicked it off.
Okay. So it was sort of like the blogging had taken off to some degree, but I don't think it's as like it is now, just oversaturated with bloggers. So I think you got in at a good time.
Absolutely. We always talk to say that we kind of got in right in the middle when it was kind of reaching its peak, before it got, really overly saturated, and, everybody has a blog these days. So.
Right. And so now I know a lot of bloggers, they write the blog themselves, but you have Sarah Ann as your partner. What are the pros and cons of having a partner?
I think one of the biggest pros is, having a partner, somebody that can kind of take the weight off of you if you're not feeling up to like writing a blog, or you're not feeling inspired to, write something, or that person, they also might have an idea about, an upcoming blog, or they just tried a great new restaurant and they wanted to get their ideas and thoughts out about it. So I think having that backup kind of adds to, kind of less stress on you from having to like take the weight of the entire blog onto yourself. I can say one of the cons is definitely when two people are running a site, each one of those people have a certain vision about where they want to see it go. So I can say one of the cons might be just different visions. You might, be at odds about wanting to cover one particular thing a certain way, kind of butt heads on some occasions.
Right, but it is kind of nice, I think, to also have the accountability. You are accountable to somebody else because it's not just you. So I think
Absolutely.
That's probably, I guess that could be a pro and a con too.
Yeah. Because they're going to hold you to it, and I know I hold Sarah to a lot of stuff, and she holds me to a lot of stuff.
And I think if you can find the right partner, then it probably works out very well. And obviously you guys are a good fit for working on this together because you've been doing this for about, I guess, like 4 years now. So,
yeah, absolutely. I kind of call her my de facto sister in the blogosphere because, we are constantly working at it and constantly butting heads on things, but it's all in good fun, and we love each other when it's all said and done.
One of the things, too, I wanted to talk about is that you and Sarah Ann, you partnered for a really neat event that you invited me and a lot of other bloggers to. This was for the Food Should Taste Good chip brand. And that was just a really fantastic, well put together event. So
Thank you.
I wondered, oh, you're welcome. And I wondered, how did that happen? Did they just approach you, or how did they find you? What made that come about?
Yeah, it's one of those things that I'm always amazed when people find our blog. I always see ourselves as the little engine that could, as it relates to the blogosphere. We post, occasionally, but when we do post, I like to think it's good content. So it really just takes me aback when actual brands reach out to us, wanting to, actually either promote content on our website or actually partner with us for a cool event like we did with Food Should Taste Good. They reached out to us. They said they loved the work that we're doing on the blog as it relates to the Atlanta food and drink scene. And it aligned with a program that they were doing in particular markets where they were sourcing individual bloggers, influential people in the respective cities' food and drink scene to partner with them to kind of highlight their chips for Food Should Taste Good in area restaurants' dishes. So we were able to partner with them and set up a great brunch at the General Muir with Chef Todd Ginsburg, where he created great off-menu items using the Food Should Taste Good chips, canapes, different entrees and course menus that really highlighted the good factors about Food Should Taste Good chips. So
did you plan the menu with the restaurant, or was that all of them doing that, or how did that work?
Oh, that was actually all of them that did that. We were great to have Chef Ginsburg, who is a James Beard nominated chef, to partner with on this, and he came up with some great out-of-the-box ideas to use the chips in the Food Should Taste Good menu.
One of the things that I really liked about the event is that they hosted so many people. They were great about getting the food and the drinks out quickly, but they also had signage everywhere. They had a nice pre-printed menu. They had the Twitter and the Instagram accounts for everyone, so we never had to ask about that. Was that something that the brand did on their own, or did you advise them to do that?
Not at all. That was something that the brand did all on their own. Like, we were happy to partner with their public relations firm, which is Cone Communications. Mm-hmm. And they we were basically just the face of the event. They, from soup to nuts, they planned the entire event, and they pulled it off great. We couldn't have asked for better people to partner with as far as pulling the whole thing off.
Fantastic, because a lot of times they miss those little details, and but now to a blogger, it's fantastic. Just have the menu as a reference, and what's the Twitter and what's the Instagram, because it was the chip brand, the restaurant, and Eat, Drink, Repeat. We had all that information right in front of us.
And the hashtag, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the hashtag. So kudos to you and the PR company for putting a great event together. So let's talk a little bit about now your experience. I mean, the topic of this podcast is getting paid for what you do. Beyond partnering with brands and sponsored posts, you actually were the Atlanta editor for the website Thrillist.com for a while. So how long did you do that for?
I did that for just about a year. I was laid off in September of 2013. They changed their corporate model to where they wanted to focus more on freelancers in specific markets rather than having full-time editors there to produce content, which kind of pared back the local content and kind of went more towards just doing like roundups of certain places only like maybe once a week and whatnot, and kind of paring back all of the everyday local reviews on different restaurants and openings.
That must have been a difficult position for you to be in, because you had a full-time job, which you left to take this editor position at Thrillist, and I couldn't think of anybody more qualified to do it than you, because I know a lot of our listeners wouldn't know this, but besides being a great writer, you also take fantastic pictures, you're a videographer, so you have all the qualifications that are paramount to doing that job. So that must have been pretty devastating to be laid off.
Yeah, it was at the time. Like, my background is 8 years in banking and insurance. So when the opportunity came along to, take on a job that was kind of what I had been doing as a passion project over the years to get actually paid to do, what I love to do, eat and drink, and, get paid to do it. That was like a dream come true. Yeah, it was definitely a dream job to be able to get to know different chefs and different restaurants, and especially the media and PR firms, to actually, see you coming in and recognize that you're writing for a reputable outlet was a great feeling. When they made the announcement that they were going to be laying off a certain number of cities in their portfolio, I had just found out that me and my wife were expecting at the time. So it definitely came as a shock that, okay, what am I going to do? I've been banking on, this job and having to provide for my, soon-to-be family, and, what am I going to do? So it was definitely a kind of like a soul-stirring experience. Yeah.
So do you regret that you took that job, or do you wish you stayed in banking and finance?
I say it would have been a lot safer to stay in the corporate world, but I don't regret the decision. Like the connections and relationships that I've made over the years, over the year that I was working at Thrillist, I wouldn't trade for anything in the world, and it actually set me on my career path to actually, what I was meant to do.
Well, that's a fantastic way to look at it. I think so too. I think I've met just some really, really wonderful and fantastic people through food blogging, and I include you in that group of people for sure.
Likewise.
So thank you. So I do think that it's sort of what you make of it, and I think that a lot of us, we tend to think, or people that don't know, they think that blogging is, you go to this restaurant and then you come home and you just sort through some pictures and you throw up a blog post. But it is a lot about networking, and if you do want to grow your personal brand, you do have to be out there networking and making those personal connections. So that's a very good point that you make.
Absolutely.
We all get busier. We get married. In your case, you had a baby, and you have a job, and things get in the way. So you have not been able to post as much to Eat, Drink, Repeat as you probably would have liked. And I know that it's probably a handful of posts that you did for 2014. But I really like that you've stayed very, very relevant. I see you everywhere. You're always out and about. Can you describe a little bit about how you've stayed relevant with not being able to post as much as maybe, like 3 or 4 times a week like maybe other bloggers do?
Yeah, I really kudos to those bloggers who can keep it up doing it, 3 times a week. I have to wonder, like, do you guys, do they have like full-time jobs and what they have going on? But it's truly a testament to what's going on in your life to be able to, post like you want to. Yeah, we haven't posted as consistently as I would like, but like you said, life happens. Sarah Ann is the public relations manager for the entire West Coast for IHG Hotels. So her card is always full. She travels a lot, so her time for the blog is always limited. Like I said, I work a full-time job as well as have a number of other freelance projects that I work on. I do freelance writing for Modern Luxury here in Atlanta. I also do all the social media for the Discover Atlanta, the Atlanta Convention and Visitors Bureau. So having the time to post, you really have to plan out your day. And I think one of the ways that we've stayed relevant, I guess, over the years is the support that we've given media and PR partners over the years with their particular restaurants and brands. Like you said, seeing me out at different events, whether we're writing about it or not, just having that physical face for the blog, showing support for their particular events. And even if it's just posting to social media and like doing like a live social media posting about the different dishes at a particular event, or new and upcoming things that chefs have coming up, just posting those things to Facebook and Twitter and stuff is how we remain relevant and still continue to get invited out to things without having consistent blogs on the website.
Right. So you think that there's a shift from maybe blogging to more of the posting on Twitter and Instagram?
Yeah, I think they kind of go hand in hand. As I guess social media has evolved over the years and blogging has evolved over the years, people's attention span is very short these days. So I think being able to get across your point in the most quickly and efficient manner as possible is one of the highlights of using social media for your blog and whatnot. When you have certain things that, you can't get across on Twitter, having the blog to be able to do more long-form pieces, to be able to highlight better photography and stuff, is things people can save to go back and look at as they see fit. So I think definitely social media kind of has one leg up on doing blog postings, in my opinion.
I would love to just do the social media because that's so quick and easy. A blog post takes so much time, and I think that people don't even realize that how much time is involved in a blog post. I mean, I have friends that say, "Oh, you have such a great life. You're out this night and that night eating here and there," but there is a lot of work when the night's over and I have to go through all my pictures and pull together a post. I mean, that takes hours. So
it does. You have to think about how many pictures you've taken at an event. You have to cull through those. If you are perfectionists like me, you have to edit those photos, make sure there aren't any crumbs on the table, Photoshop, Lightroom. So it definitely is a time-consuming process of going from content to actually getting the final blog post up on the site.
Right. And that's why I think a lot of bloggers now, they want to charge to review a product, and they think that they should get paid for what they're doing, and I don't disagree with that. I think that it is our time and our effort to do that. And recently I approached a brand about being their ambassador, and they said, "Well, we don't have a budget for that, but we can pay you in cupcakes." And I said, "Well," I said, "I'm sorry, I can't pay my bills with cupcakes." And
Exactly.
And I think that it's important that brands know that if you do want to work with quality bloggers, that we are publishers, just like any sort of magazine, newspaper, or even an online magazine. That's kind of what we are. So if you want to work with quality ones, then you should expect to pay them. So shifting gears a little bit, you do partner with brands sometimes. And I don't think that you have ad networks on, or you partner with ad networks on your blog. Is that correct?
Yeah, we don't. When we initially started the blog, it was just, like I said, as a passion project. We weren't expecting to get any type of payment out of it. We were doing it just for the love of food. And like I said, the perks were getting actually, recognized by other local media and PR firms to invite us out to events, and to kind of offset the cost of us going out by, providing us with dinners and that type of access to be able to write up our blog posts. But when we initially started, we had no idea about ad networks or even monetizing the website. All of our costs of running the website were all out-of-pocket costs. I paid money out of pocket for website hosting, and paid money out of my pocket for a camera to be able to take better photos for the blog. So we had no idea about that when we first started out.
Yeah, and there's been a big hubbub lately about ad networks paying a lot less to bloggers, and bloggers are a little bit concerned about that. But I think that the route that you're taking, where you're looking to partner with brands and maybe do some sponsored content, that's probably the best way to go. And then it looks like your site is still clean. It doesn't have all those ads, and looks nicer from the perspective of your audience.
Well, thank you, certainly appreciate it. We haven't updated in a while, and I think it's due for a facelift. So be looking out for an update to the website probably within the next couple of months or so.
Oh, good. I look forward to that. So one last question before I let you go. If you had one thing to do differently when starting your blog, what would it be?
Oh, that is a hard question. One thing that we would do differently, I guess, is, like I said, be more consistent. Like I said, when remaining relevant, like I was saying, is doing social media. But also people want to see, that particular thing they want to go to every single day. They want to be able to, talk about the most latest food and drink news going on in the city, which we're glad to be in Atlanta, which is the awesomest city for food, I think, that's going on right now, to where we're having, world-acclaimed chefs opening up different concepts every single day here. So I think one of the things that we would do differently is be more consistent with our blog postings, as well as knowing the income revenue that's related to even having a blog. I think we first started out with ad networks when they were kind of at their highest, paying out more, then we would be definitely in a better position to, afford more money for better cameras and actually have somebody else to design our website, like having those types of the ability to access those types of things to kind of make your brand better would be something different that I would have liked to have done started out. If I had known then what I know now, it would have definitely been a lot different.
And that's something to think about for any bloggers that are starting out now. Think about long term. Chris, if somebody wanted to contact you to invite you to their restaurant or hire you for photography, how could they reach you?
They can reach me. I have my own social media branding company where we do photography as well as social media consulting for restaurants and different brands here. They can reach me at Watkins, that's WATKINS, C as in Charlie, B as in boy, at gmail.com, or they can email my company website at Watkins, WATKINS, branding, BRANDING, at gmail.com.
Well, super. And I will vouch for you. I think you are a wonderful photographer and videographer, so anybody that hired you, they would be very lucky, and I'm sure that they would be very happy with the work that you did for them.
I certainly appreciate that.
Sure. So thanks again, Chris, for taking the time to talk to us today, and I look forward to seeing you at an event soon.
Absolutely. I certainly appreciate it, and it's great to talk to you.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.